Hello, everyone. Dr. Jack Wolfson, board certified cardiologist, coming back in the 28-day heart scrub. 28 days of information all about scrubbing out those heart arteries, getting rid of high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, congestive heart failure, strokes, you name it. All about you living your best and healthiest heart life. Today, we are at day number 24. And although we've talked a little bit intermittently about various tests that we like to use, I want to go over all of the main cardiovascular tests that I like to run on my patients, especially in the first encounter. So whether you want to work with me or somebody from my team, or this information you can take back to your local doctor as well and say you want these tests run. Because I remember back, again, when I was a hospital-based cardiologist, we were doing the same lab testing as they were doing in the 1970s, and most cardiologists are still doing the same thing. They're still doing the 1970s testing, total cholesterol, LDL, HDL. They're not looking at all the things we need to look at. They're just running the basics. In fact, some of them don't even run the basics. They just assume that you've got heart disease and you should be on a statin drug, or like statin drugs should be in the drinking water. That's what a lot of these doctors believe. So I should know because I used to work with all those doctors and I heard the conversations up until I left in 2012. So what we want to do is that we want to run the most advanced test in the world to really be able to tell you what your risk of cardiovascular events is and how do we modify those risks without pharmaceuticals. So what we do, for example, is the advanced cardiovascular analysis that looks at advanced lipid particles, where we're looking at things like the ApoB, ApoA ratio. The ratio is the most important predictive lipid marker there is. We look at things like Lp(a), which is a very nasty form of LDL, which is genetic related. Next, we look at markers of inflammation. High inflammation is much more important than abnormal lipids, abnormal cholesterol. And one thing in that inflammation area is looking at something called oxidized LDL. And oxidized LDL looks at damaged LDL particles, and those are the bad cholesterol, if you will. And then, of course, in-depth analysis of blood sugar and fasting insulin and hemoglobin A1C and thyroid antibodies. And on top of that, we're going to look at things, of course, like vitamin D. We're going to look at homocysteine. We're going to look at uric acid. And all of that starts to build a picture of where you're at from a heart health standpoint. And that's just test number one. And included in that, we'll look at male and female hormones and make sure those are optimized as well. Number two, we want to do an in-depth intracellular analysis. It's one thing if you take vitamins, and it's one thing if they get into the blood, but are they getting into the cells? The food you eat, the vitamins and minerals from the food you eat, are they getting into the cells? We need to look at intracellular levels of all the vitamins, of all the minerals, of glutathione, of CoQ10, of omega-3s. Are you getting it into your body or not? Intracellular vitamin K2, that may be one of the holy grails of plaque reversal to determine if we can get, to determine if somebody has K2 inside of the cells, because again, vitamin K2 keeps calcium in the bones and out of the arteries. The next test we like to run is a test on leaky gut, gluten sensitivity. That's called the wheat zoomer. And then we do something called the 3-test urine combo, the triple toxin combo. And it's 3 different urine tests looking at 31 different mold mycotoxins. And we talked in one of our earlier lessons about the importance of looking for mold and testing for mold. Well, that's part of it, 31 different mold mycotoxins. And I'm telling you right now, if you've not been tested for mold, one test, get tested for mold, because it's so fundamental and it's so disease forming and just nobody's talking about it. In addition to the mold test, we do 27 different environmental toxins. And then we also do we do 20 different toxic metals. So that's kind of where things are at. Those are 6 different tests. And again, you can go to the doctorswolfson.com/tests, and that tells you about a lot of the different products we're talking about. And then the doctorswolfson.com/cardiovascular -tests. You can see that as well. That didn't come through. I apologize. The doctorswolfson.com cardiovascular-tests. There we go. That should do it. Okay, so that's really what you want to either talk to us about, or again, talk with your local healthcare provider. And we have these available on our website. You can check that out. Of course, you can always email us for more information, health at the doctorswolfson.com. You can get more information there on all these different topics. So again, test, don't guess. That is the moral of the story for today. That is the lesson to be learned. Test, don't guess. Your health is way too important for that. And we wish you the best. 28-day heart scrub, all about living your best cardiac life, cardiac longevity, you name it, scrubbing out those heart arteries, preventing heart attacks, strokes, and people from dying of heart disease. That's what I'm talking about. We will come back tomorrow, day number 25 out of the 28-day heart rate.